Alright, let's see. Welcome to Squawking 1200. Today I'm going to attempt to use the embedded Microsoft replay camera. I have no idea how this works or how it will affect my
Seattle Center,
performance.
Skywest 3787, flight level 340.
Just turn it off.
Skywest 3787, radar contact.
Take a look. Oh, it's still recording. Okay, that's good. So here we are, situated at HRA1. It's called Runway over the mountain. I believe this is a Hellraiser 1818 with all the recommended libraries. Continuing on with the Ziln, Ziln Norden. I'm going to do a full checklist, start to finish. So I'm going to go pre-flight inspection. Alright. So it looks like we start off inside the aircraft, so I'm going to hit the Shift C button. Right door is adjust aircraft settings and simulation settings as required. Not sure what that is. Right door closed, parking brake is set. Circuit breakers, the heat on this aircraft is always out. So I'm just going to push that one back in. Battery switch on. Battery backup. No, that's battery backup, I believe. Panel lights. I knew that was too soon for that one. Oh, panel lights, there we go. Set to on. Avionics master switch now on. Nav lights to on. Fuel quantity will be verified in a second. Here, we just gotta let the Garmin spool itself up here, and it looks like we are in the green. Looks like we currently have plenty of fuel. Fuel select shutoff valve to open. Alright, completes 11 out of 11 items on the pre-flight. So what I'm going to do, this is actually, why would pre-flight not start outside the aircraft? This is a weird one. So I'm going to dump these for a second. We're going to step back out of the aircraft. Going to do our pre-flight inspection. We're going to remove the wheel chocks, mud blocks. Okay, now we're back inside the aircraft. We'll pick up where we left off here. Battery, main, lighting. We checked the fuel quantity. Fuel shutoff was back to open. Alright, starting the engine. Turn on the main fuel pump. Check. Turn on engine control units 1 and 2. 1 and engine control unit. Throttle, 1/4 inch. Strobe lights on. Check. Propeller area clear prop. The momentary and ignition. Check for fuel pressure. Fuel pressure looks good. Oil pressure is, oil pressure's in the green already. That's good. Fuel pressure, oil pressure. Transponder on. Standby. AWAS obtained the taxi information. Picohertz heat circuit breaker. Temperature is coming up, throttle back down to level. taxi the landing light on. Parking brake for the release, and we're going to test the brakes. Parking brake released. Parking brake set. Good. Alright, we're going to jump into VR. We're going to get ready to taxi. I don't think I'm going to do the in-flight checklist, but maybe I should. Maybe we will do that. So I'm just going to squawk VFR. I'm just going to turn this thing on here. I'll rate myself a Joe. Heading into VR. Hopefully the game doesn't crash. And did I start the OBS recording? Yes, I did. It's good not to get too far into the sim and realize you didn't start that. I'm going to check the recording. Still recording. That's good. Turn this thing off. There we go. We're going to fly over to 19 uniform. Alright, let's taxi out. We got, somebody's got an early morning fire going here. Release the brakes again. Well, I'm probably just curse this video as probably going to screw up the takeoff and have to start this whole thing over. Why is... obviously a cliff. We got the dirt bikes out here this weekend. Alright, getting myself reoriented with my direction. Gonna hold the stick back a little bit. Put on my little safety thing here. Making sure I don't have any deer running out in front of me. This is super cool scenery. Hellraiser 1818. Got this off the flightsim.to and all the required libraries. I'm going to just zoom in here a little bit. Alright, I am at the end of the runway. I couldn't tell if this was going to be runway, but I think those are just camp spurs, I guess. Alright, gonna go one notch of the flaps. Gonna deploy the spoilers, landing lights on. Cabin heat is currently in. Make sure I'm centered up here in the cockpit pretty well. That's good. Everything's free and clear. Left, right. Flaps at 1 notch. Just confirm that. And I'm not sure how I minimize this screen. Well, it looks like we fly straight ahead, dive off the end of the mountain, and land down at a 19 uniform. We're going for it. Parking brakes off. Slowly adding some throttle. Positive rate of climb. Retract the spoilers. And we are flying today. I'm going to consider that a pretty successful takeoff. Pull some power back. Looks like we're headed down there. I think this is going to be our better path here. I think I'm going to go left and then go right around this little piece of the mountain. Heading down to the canyon. In flight. Alright, we got all this stuff. Backup fuel. Alright. Gonna minimize this. Throttle. Oh, this stupid. Come on. Throttle, tail wheel flaps, slats, backup pump. I didn't turn the backup pump on. So I'm learning this as we go. Radios, transponder, heading. Free and clear, flaps, leading edge, slats, elevator trim. And minimize that. All of a sudden I'm getting a lot of wind noise. That looks like the airport often right off the end of the prop right there. Right there. That's the looks like the runway up and coming. before landing checklist. Autopilot. Elevator trim is neutral. Landing light on. Backup fuel pump on. Trim neutral. Alright, that looks like that's all set. Normal landing, throttle is required, 50 to 60, leading edge slats, flaps as desired, touchdown braking. Alright. We can do that. Trying to keep the landing airspeed between 50 and 60 has been a little bit tricky. I've tended to be a little bit on the slow side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the up position is on in this aircraft. Ooh, somebody's flying a hot air balloon today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Starting to overspeed here. So I don't know if I'm gonna leave the replay mode as it is. I was just gonna had a quick moment of thought. Do I change it to some other view? I'm not really sure. It's not as intuitive as, say, the X-plane. Slow this thing down a little bit. First notch of flaps. A little quick there. Spoilers out. I feel like I'm probably way too high. I'm gonna slip. That's better. I'm gonna go second notch of flaps. Third notch of flaps. Still a little bit high. We're just going to hit this at a steep angle here. Going to land downfield a little bit. Going to try to 2-point land this. So you're starting to get a little slow there. And a lot of brakes. Alright, I'd give that a pretty good. I'm trying to increase the engine RPMs just before landing. And that is not working. I'm not pulling the RPMs back out fast enough. I am remembering to pull the stick back and then dump the flaps, but I also need to start really aggressively applying the brakes. We're going to taxi over to the house here a little bit. I'm gonna say at least we didn't get the landing gear malfunction. At least not yet, anyways. All right. Go the slats back. I'm going to head over to 19 uniform. No, hang on. Did we land in the wrong place? This sure looks like a bush strip, but is it? But is it off of our left wing over there somewhere? Well, this is a little bit awkward. Alright, let's go take a look. Slats, boom. Positive rate. 300 feet or so, and up, and retract. Or maybe that's the airport. Wow, that's pretty confusing. All right, I will definitely turn around and we will. Oh, yeah, there's a plane. Looks like a little piece of wreckage. All right, we're gonna head down the river here a little bit. We'll make a U-turn. And we will land on the correct airport. I could see that as being a somewhat of an easy mistake to make. This time I'm going to try to remember to hit the brakes fairly aggressively when I hit the runway. Airspeed check. Whoops. That's what happens when I was too aggressive on the speed. To back this thing up, we're going to try again. Slats down. Break off. Alright, we're going to redo that. Too high of an approach. First notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps. Spoilers. Alright, don't be so aggressive on yanking back than pulling up the nose. Come on, stick to 2-point landing. Brake, tail. That's... well, I thought that was better. It was a little bit better. Got a little wheelie out of it. But hey, any landing you can walk away from, and I'm walking. Alright. So far, one mishap. And we are going to see what else is further up the river here. Stuff's pretty far up in that direction. Alright, let's go do an off-airport sandbar. Or miniature island filled with trees. Hey, we got some helper over there. What's he doing? Oh, don't take off with the wind. It's a bad idea, but we're going for it. Maybe he was trying to signal me that something was about to happen. Quartering tailwind. This is why we sim, people. Alright. Let's see, what was it? Pump 2 should be on for these landings. Oh, almost hit these rocks. That wasn't too bad. Gotta love the Tundra tires. First notch of flaps again. Let's see if we don't screw this one up. Slats up, slats back, slats retracted. Should probably say retracted, flaps up. Little green space here. Should be right around this corner. There should be, looks like a pretty flat area. That does not look like a great place here. Pretty rocky ground. That looks like some sand over there on our right. 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Alright, let's go for this spot. Go slats. Trying to nail my airspeed here. Spotting up my landing. And that should conclude the video. I don't think I'm recovering from this. Too aggressive on the brakes. Squawking 1200. I'm going to try the replay mode and see what that's all about. Control tab, get out of VR. Restart the flight. No, cancel that for a second. Resume. I've not used the replay thing here, so. That doesn't look like it. I guess that's why people don't like the replay. Restart.